ReadJunk.
ReadJunk.
ReadJunk
Podcast.
ReadJunk Podcast with your host, my dad.
Hey, it's the ReadJunk Podcast, and I am your host, Bryan Kremko. I'm going to be doing something a little special this week. I'm going to be doing a Christmas episode where I'm going to be talking with a few friends.
I'm not a friend.
Well, I didn't get to you yet. Where we talk about Christmas movies and maybe some Christmas albums or like what's your favorite. But it's mainly a Christmas episode, just something that popped in my head that I figured we should be doing. Of course, I waited last minute to do it. But my first guest is going to be my wife, Kristen.
Hello.
And we're going to be doing just what's like your like go-to Christmas movie that you watch that we have to watch. I mean, we're pretty similar in tastes, but
yeah, so Bryan basically just makes me watch whatever he wants to watch. But
well, I mean, I know everything about movies, so
yeah, you know everything. But my favorite, I can't really pick one favorite. I'd have to say that my top three are Elf, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and Home Alone 2.
See, I'm very similar with, I mean, obviously, we're compatible. We've been married, but yeah, my top 10 is looking like Christmas Vacation, Elf, Home Alone 2, but Home Alone 1 and 2 are kind of they're very similar, but I think Home Alone 2, for whatever reason, is very underrated and it's so much more violent. Like, yeah. Kevin just probably would have killed those guys several times over, especially just with the bricks, just to start it alone.
It's really special, too, because it's in New York at Christmas, which is, what we've grown up with.
I think that's part of the reason why I like it better. And plus, it's like always like the first movie. It's like you've seen it so many times, and it's like all the gags, and it's I don't know, for whatever reason I just find myself liking the second one better, or maybe it's funnier or just more out there. I think. I mean, how shitty of the family to lose their kid back-to-back years, and then so it's just like. It's like more zanier, but for whatever reason, I like it. It's more funnier, just because. What the hell's her name? Harry and Marv just get fucked up.
Yeah, I love seeing them get bricks thrown at them by Kevin from up on the rooftop. That always gets me.
The bricks, and then the best moment I think is when he gets electrocuted and he's just like.
And he turns into a skeleton.
He turns into a skeleton. So it's, but yeah, so that's why it's like little moments like that I just like them just like, that's the sound of a tool chest falling down the stairs, and it's like cracking their noses. It's just whatever reason I've always liked that one better than the first one. I'm sure we're in a minority, and I'm sure people like the first one better, but.
Yeah. And
then, so, I mean, after Home Alone 1 and 2, I like Love Actually. Just it's such a stupid movie for several reasons, but it's one that just, I think of London, or makes me want to go to London whenever I watch it. And it's
such a depressing Christmas movie, Bryan.
It's depressing, and it's unrealistic in a lot of ways, like the kid running through the airport. Like, that kid would have been shot or, like, tased. And then, like, Liam Neeson's storyline is depressing. Andrew Lincoln is a fucking stalker, pretty much. And a douchebag because he's trying to hit on his, like, best friend's wife. I guess it's kind of realistic because people do that, but...
It's a movie about terrible people doing terrible things around the holidays.
Yeah, and Alan Rickman's character is a dickhead, and it's like... but for whatever reason, it's another movie where I have to watch it all the time. And then after Love Actually, I have number 6 is Bad Santa, which You don't
Good
usually like to
movie.
watch that one. I mean,
It's funny.
It's
I think
funny.
it's funny.
it's for the people that are very grumpy around the holidays. I think it's a perfect movie for them because it's something that they can relate to, I guess. But I actually haven't seen that this season, so I might need to squeeze that in.
Actually, every time our son asks for sandwiches, he kind of reminds me a little bit of the kid in that movie now.
Thurman Merman.
Because he asks for sandwiches for pretty much every
What's
meal.
with you fucking sandwiches. The Bad Santa 2 wasn't as good. That came out like 2 years ago. I need to watch it again, but it was. I mean, there were some funny moments but nothing compares to the first one. So number 7, I have Christmas Story, which I watched when I had the flu last week. It's one of those movies where we used to watch it every year during the 80s or when it came out, and then TVS got the rights of it and just fucking buried it to the ground with how many times because they would do a 24-hour marathon. So anytime, I would always hold off on watching it until Christmas Eve because that's when it would be playing. So it's like they would always play Christmas Story then. But I decided to just watch it last week anyway, just because I was like, yeah, I could just put it on in the background because I've seen it so many times.
I think that I don't even think that I ever saw that
think I
movie
showed-
until I met you.
Yeah, I think I showed it to you a few years ago. There's been a lot of movies like that where I'm like, oh, you never saw this movie? Okay, let's watch. But then there's Christmas movies that I haven't seen that you've seen. You've seen The Holiday, and I haven't seen that one. And my brother likes that movie for whatever reason.
Best.
So is it Jack Black, Jude Law?
Liam, no. Not I wanted to say
Wait,
Liam Neeson. It's not.
I Have Your Holiday.
I don't know why his name popped into my head. Maybe because
If
you
you
were
want to see
talking.
The Holiday again, you better call me back.
No, but you were talking about Love Actually, so that's why his name popped
yeah,
into my
Liam
head.
Neeson was in that.
It's what's his name?
I will look,
You
I
have
will-
to look it up.
I'm going to look it up right now and see. Who was in The Holiday as the train's going by? The Holiday stars. Jude Law.
Jude Law, yes.
Jack Black. Kate Winslet?
Kate Winslet, yeah, and Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz, that's it. By Nancy Myers. Is it one of those Nancy Myers, the one that does like all those chick flick type movies?
So it's a
with this-
really great movie where Kate Winslet's character switches places with Cameron Diaz's character. Not like actual places, but just like houses during the holidays.
Like that movie with Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan.
No.
I'm the Crypt Keeper.
Another classic that I introduced you to.
I still haven't seen that one.
What?
Just like I have the Mary Kate and Ashley DVDs that you refuse to sell. and
Those
give away.
aren't mine.
Yes, they are. I don't own them.
I don't know what you're talking about. But this movie's really cute. We're definitely going to watch that this holiday. I've seen it already. But I feel like every time I see it, it's without you.
Yeah, I mean, I could just watch it without you, and then I'm like, why do you like this movie? Like, White
No, but
Chicks or
I
something.
want to watch it. I want to watch it again. I
Okay,
really love
all
it.
right, we can watch that, and we can watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which, I mean, that one still just holds up every year. I just like giggle my ass off. That and Elf, I think, are just like
Yeah.
ones I always find little things where I just start laughing each year. I find something new. And then, so I mean, coming out number 8 for my list is The Santa Claus with Tim Allen, I guess. I mean, it was such a cute movie back then, but it's kind of hard coming up with 10 because it's like now it's kind of gonna like, yeah, it's like I watch it. It's not the greatest. It's like, I mean, there's some other ones I've could have done. I think, like number 9, it did March of the Wooden Soldiers or Babes in Toyland with. But you hate
That's
that movie.
so creepy.
It's such a weird movie because it's like it takes
It's
place in
not-
July, and then, but I mainly like it because of Laurel and Hardy, like how just they still make me belly laugh watching them, you know, and it's something from the 1930s or 40s or whatever it's from. But for whatever reason, I don't know. It's something, and they always play it around Thanksgiving time. They don't really play it around Christmas time. It's like on WPIX or like Channel 11, like one of those things. Like they'll play that, and it's like I like the black and white version. And then there's other versions where there's like extra songs in it, and it's like, what the fuck is this? It's like, this has nothing to do with Christmas or anything. It's just like these like weird songs with like they're in a cave, and it's like.
I don't like that she has to marry the old man. It's just so
Barnaby, I want you to be my bride.
It's disturbing. It's one of those disturbing holiday classics.
But hey, it's something I have to watch every year, which I haven't. That's another one I haven't watched yet. We've been in the Game of Thrones rewatching, binging marathon, and it's been kind of tough squeezing in Christmas movies. But we'll have to do something this weekend. And then rounding out number 10 is, I don't know, it was like another old movie, but it's like I like Miracle on 34th Street. I like the original movie, and it's like seeing Manhattan from back then, and I think that was done in the 40s as well. I don't like the remake.
The one with Mara Wilson.
Is that the girl from Mrs. Doubtfire?
Yep.
Yeah. I don't like that one. I like the black and white original version better. But yeah, I mean, so I'm sure there's some other movies, like I'm sure I could have put Rudolph, but I don't really consider Rudolph a movie. It's like it's not over an hour, so I don't really consider it's like a TV special to me.
Yeah.
There's this thing like Frosty's like only 22 minutes. We just watched that with Connor the other day.
And that's another good one.
Yeah, it's like Frosty's, Rudolph, and Shrek.
Shrek the Halls.
But that's only like a half hour special too. So there's TV specials, and then there's movies. Now, is there any Christmas type of music besides the shit I always play in the car that you like music wise?
Oh, jeez.
Like a certain song or album that you like have to listen to at least a few times.
I love the Carbon Leaf Christmas music.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
Yeah, I love that.
Because it's original music and it's not the same shit you hear over and over and over.
Exactly. I mean, I like all kinds of Christmas music. I feel like I listen to it in the middle of the summer and not in December.
Oh, so like
normal people.
Red Punch, Green Punch comes on, and it's like, it's July, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes that happens, like with Emmett Otter. Like, I'll put some of that on. That's another thing. That's Emmett Otter. Like, that's sort of a movie, but I think it's only a half hour or 50 minutes. I don't know. It's not a full hour, so I don't consider it a movie.
But they don't win the competition at the end of the movie. It's
now,
also
talk about depressing.
No, it's very depressing. It's very
like
depressing.
Pa died. I'm like, no. It's like, now that's even extra rough to watch these days, but they're just cute. It's Jim Henson, and
they're very mangy puppets.
They have good catchy songs by Paul Williams, and which the soundtrack just came out remastered. So I got that.
The music is good.
The music is good, and barbecue.
And Carbon Leaf also covered.
Which they also cover that.
Yeah.
I don't think they sometimes do it live. They do it at their hometown shows. I'm trying to think of other Christmas albums that I have to listen to. Chris Trapper did one years ago that was really good. Original. Real Big Fish did one. The Toasters did one back in the 90s, and I remember my dad getting that at Moon Records, and then we would play that every Christmas. Not every song's that good, but I mean, I like certain songs from the album. But I think the main album that I listen to the most is Gene Autry, and that's thanks to my dad. You know, when he got it, like a cassette tape of it, and I'm like, what the hell is this crap? We're listening to the country. I'm like, we're not country. But then just listen to it over and over each Christmas, and then it's like, now I end up buying like the CD for a lot more other songs that I never heard before. So I think that's like my number one like album is Gene Autry, like Christmas collection.
Yeah, Gene Autry is Christmas. Does Metallica have a Christmas album?
I don't know, actually. If anything, maybe they have a song. I mean, they have done weird covers like the Whiskey in the Jar cover. As I was going over the far-decayed mountains. But I don't know. I can't see Metallica doing a Christmas song, but maybe, I don't know. I can always look that up, but Metallica Christmas, that would be pretty funny. I mean, Bad Religion did Christmas song, that's really funny, considering, anti-religions. And they're doing all like, oh, Manuel and that kind of stuff. That was a good album that came out. But yeah, so I think we're winding down here with our segment. Unless you feel like talking anymore or have any more Christmas movie discussions.
I do not have any more Christmas thoughts.
All right, so thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Up next is with my buddy Chris Taylor. We talk about metal, of course, because he's the metal guy, but we talk about other Christmas movies like Bad Santa and just some things off topic, but you get the gist of it. So here's Chris Taylor. So we are doing a podcast episode on our favorite Christmas movies and some albums and songs. I know you're not a fan of the Christmas music. We can do music portion first if you want. Yeah. So I mean, so you don't really like the Christmas Eve kind of music like Wham and Mariah
Don't get
Carey.
me started on that. Yeah, I mean, like, what does that song have to do? Just because he says Christmas, all of a sudden it's a Christmas song? It's a sad song. How is it a joyous occasion kind of song?
What Last Christmas is?
Yeah.
My other friend Chris, he was there was the Whamageddon thing where he was like trying to avoid hearing Wham the entire holiday season, and every time he kept posting something on Facebook, I kept like Rick-rolling him in a way by just kept posting Last Christmas music videos. He's like, I don't trust you. And then he actually he dropped out of it today because he walked into a cafe and he heard Last Christmas. I'm like, oh, that sucks. I'm like, I don't know. I like the song.
Yeah.
See, I'm not a fan of, or I'm not against all the Christmas music. There's certain ones where it's like the same songs over and over again. I have a particular like mix of bands that cover certain things, and then it's like I listen to that.
Yeah, well, I did the same thing too. I mean, I know I'm sitting here acting like I'm anti-Christmas music, but I do a monthly mix for everything.
Yeah.
Like when I'm moving along, but I decided this year I'd make the theme December, and somehow I was like, hey, well, you got some Christmas music here, so you might as well put it on. So I put like a couple songs on, like, I know it's not technically a Christmas song, but He Is Legend. Either they decorated for Christmas or they're all dead. It's technically not a Christmas song, but I feel that falls into the Wham territory.
Okay.
And of course, Seven Dust has a song Xmas Day, which I don't think really has anything to do with Christmas, but I'd have to say the big ones that I actually like for Christmas would either be the Austrian Death Machine songs, or Jingle Bells, and then
they had
King
Christmas
Diamond,
songs?
No Presents for Christmas, and CKY's Santa's Coming.
Wait, Austrian Death Machine is it because like it's Jingle All the Way covered?
Well, they did like two of them. So they did Jingle Bells, and then there was another one. I think they did one where I don't think it was so much of a Christmas one, but it was like, it was a song about Turbo Man, obviously, Christmas movie with Arnold technically. Are
they going to be doing any more albums since he's out of jail now?
I don't know. That's a really touchy situation, because it's like, he's trying to say that he's a changed person, but at the same time, he went to jail for what he attempted to do. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, I did put the song on the mix, so maybe I'm not 100% offended about it.
Yeah, I'm like at least it's kind of like one of those things where you have to like separate the artists from what they did in real life. Like for certain like the Me Too movement and like certain things like or like Kevin Spacey. Like, can you still enjoy Kevin Spacey movies even though he's a fucking creep? It's kind of like it's like kind of like those things where you gotta sometimes separate the artist.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like sure he almost tried to killing his wife.
There's been some that I've just straight up thrown, out. Like, was it when the Lost Prophets guy, when he got when it came out about what he did? I went through, I deleted the entire discography. I'm like, I'm done.
Was that like child porn or something?
Oh,
or like hitting
it wasn't
younger,
just child porn. It got
girls?
a lot deeper and a lot more disgusting than you probably ever want to know.
Yeah, no, not for a Christmas episode.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Hey, what about that Lost Prophets guy?
Chris and I were actually we were wondering actually, and this you would probably be the perfect person to ask, is did Metallica ever have a Christmas song or Christmas album?
No, they didn't. It's weird. You'd think they would have cashed in, but
I know
they've traditionally been the kind of band that they've never, like, they took forever to make a music video. They didn't make a music video into the like fourth album because I guess they considered it like poser-esque, and
yeah,
I don't know. They've never done that. But then again, they also said they'd never do an acoustic show, and they've been doing like was it the Bridge School benefit? And they actually just recently did. I don't know if it was the Bridge School thing, but they did a whole acoustic thing on their own, and they're actually releasing it like come February.
Okay, because I was like wondering if it was like maybe they did it with that album of when they covered Whiskey in the Jar.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was such a weird cover that they did.
Yeah. Well, I guess as far as Christmas songs, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Typo Negative's Red Water Christmas Morning, which is about family members decreasing as Christmases go on. That's another cheery number.
Yeah, so another weird Chrissy Downer.
Yeah, I know. I'm just like, yeah, I listen to all the really good, hard and heavy ones.
Like listen to Gene Autry or belt out some Mariah Carey in the car when no one's looking.
I'd probably say if there was one like that I kind of like, and I don't necessarily know that it's 100% a Christmas song. Was it? I think it's Andy Williams. Was it The Most Wonderful Time of the Year?
Yeah, it's the
that
most.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That's like one of those ones where it's like so many people cover it, and it's like, all right, you either have that version that because it's like I had to like delete like half my playlist because it's like so many versions of the same song, and it's like Bing Crosby does this one, Frank Sinatra does this one, Andy Williams does this one, Elvis Fitzgerald does this one. I'm like, okay, I gotta like just pick one from like the old timers, and it's like now I got like Bad Religion doing all that, like they have all those religious songs that they covered a few years ago. That was really good. Like stuff like that. So it's like I have a lot of mixture of that and like Carbon Leaf and then like Emmett Otter.
Oh yeah.
Like, do you like Emmett Otter?
The other thing you have to take into account too when you're listening to all this stuff, like they probably recorded this stuff in July. So where's the inspiration for that?
Yeah, I mean, Goldfinger just released an EP, and I'm like wondering, like they probably did this like in July when they released like their other album or something.
I mean, like, wouldn't you want to like record it the year before during Christmas time so you have like full inspiration?
Yeah, it's like once you like, yeah, we'll just do it now, so then we don't have to like think about it in July. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to do it in July. It's like, who wants to fucking record in July for Christmas songs? I'm curious.
July, I guess.
I mean, I am curious to see when Goldfinger, because I mean he is a famous producer, so I mean he probably had just a studio just right at his whim. They could just whip something up really quick, like some bands can do that. But all right, so you like all the metal kind of Christmas stuff, so you don't like any of the generic, like that's your go.
You know what it is? Yeah, I mean there's some classic stuff like I guess the only other one that I could think of that I actually liked was what is it when Bing Crosby and David Bowie got together and did Little Drummer Boy?
Oh right, yeah.
That's kind of cool, but yeah, I mean I don't know. I guess when you get older, the Christmas thing feels less special and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I lean towards the anti,
Yeah,
like
unless
I'm
you
a
get
big
unless you
I'm
get
a
a
big
kid
Bad
and then-
Santa guy, so
Yeah. Did Gwar ever have a Christmas song?
I don't want to say no. I mean, I would not put it out of the realm of possibility that they did a Christmas song.
Penguin Attack, I guess, is the closest.
Yeah.
I mean, if they don't have a Christmas album, they certainly should. I think.
Well, they are from Antarctica, or that's where they were frozen forever.
That would be the
South
opposite.
Pole, right?
The opposite end, though, wouldn't it? They're not from the North Pole. There should be a Gwar side band from North Pole that does Christmas songs. To like their arch nemesis or something band.
Well, there was like years ago in the 90s when Vince McMahon was really having crazy ideas. He had a wrestler that was called Santa Claus, and he would wear opposite, Christmas colors, and he would take presents from kids or something like that. It was hysterical.
Oh, wrestling, yeah. But going into movies now, what's the one movie that you have to watch every year?
I'd probably say Bad Santa. I mean, I don't know, I don't really, I try to shy away from the ones that are a little bit more obvious. Like, it's kind of hard to avoid, was a Christmas Story, because, someone will be like, oh, look, this is on. I'll be like, yeah, okay.
It's
seen
on
it like a million times already.
Yeah, it's on 24 hours a day on TBS or TNT or whatever it is. Yeah, one of those.
Yeah.
Do you like Christmas Vacation or Elf, Home Alone?
I'd probably say Home Alone for sure. I mean, There's like other ones. There's always that debate of, is it a Christmas movie or does it occur at Christmas time? If so,
I know, it's like that debate about Die Hard, and it's like, the movie was released in the summertime, so that's one strike against it. Sure, it takes place in Christmas, but it doesn't, it's not like a plot-driven thing about Christmas. Sure, he's saving people around Christmas time, but you can pick any freaking holiday, and it's like, yeah, the office is having a party for someone's birthday, and it's like, that could be it. So, I mean, I get some people's arguments for it, but I don't think it's really a Christmas movie. It's not one that's like, you have to watch at Christmas time. You can watch it anytime.
Well, let's take this into consideration too, because I don't really hear this pulled into the equation. I guess Gremlins, the first one, occurred at Christmas time, so technically, is that a Christmas movie?
Some people put it in that, yeah, and same thing with Lethal Weapon too. It's like another one that's like takes place during Christmas time, or it's like Trading Places takes place New Year's and Christmas, and it's like those are movies I can watch anytime though. It's not ones like, okay, I only have to watch Elf on Christmas, like around Christmas time, like after Thanksgiving, and it's like until Christmas Day, and then I usually stop watching Christmas stuff. And that's usually when all the stuff shows on cable. It's like all like Christmas Vacation and all those movies are playing after the holiday season for whatever reason. It's like, oh, let's watch this in July.
So if we're talking about, was it the National Lampoon, contingent, do you consider Holiday Road, that song, to be a holiday song, even though holiday isn't the title, and the actual music video for it is the weirdest friggin' thing in the universe?
No, because I think it's like a British thing when they say, oh, I'm going on holiday. So it's usually that's the vacation. So it's like Holiday Road sounds a lot more I guess it sounds more pleasing than Vacation Road.
But seriously, I just wanted to put that out there. If you guys have not seen the original music video for Lindsey Buckingham, Holiday Road, be ready for the weird, video that is.
I think I've seen that, and I don't know. Did it have nothing to do with any, I don't know, I forget the video. Explain what was in the video. Do you remember?
Oh, God. All right. So, of course, there's Lindsey Buckingham. It's shot a little bit, weird. I don't know if it was shot to be, sped up or something like that. I know there's a couple, really weird, Fleetwood Mac videos, too, that were shot, in a weird manner like that, too. But, it's this weird thing where I guess everybody's like sitting at desks and they have like zombie eyes and they're like, I guess it's supposed to be some symbolism for slaving away at work or something like that.
Oh, okay. I think it's coming back to me. Yeah.
You're probably gonna wish I never brought that up.
I think I'm gonna probably watch this as soon as this conversation's over. So is there any like really bad Christmas movies that you have to watch? Like ones like one of those. There's like been a lot of horror movie ones lately. I don't know if you're into that. I'm not into that. Like that. Like
I want to say I finally saw most of Krampus, and I was like, I don't necessarily think that was like a Christmas movie, even though it's technically supposed to be.
Yeah.
It just felt like it's just like a horror movie in general. Like I didn't think it didn't blow me out of the water, but then again, I saw it with commercial breaks, and then I was like, oh crap, maybe I'm like halfway through the movie because it was on like FXX or something.
For whatever, I don't know, I just can't get into those like the scary movies for Christmas. Like it's like I don't know, maybe I'm not a horror fan really, but I don't know, I can't watch any of those. It's like there's like the scary snowman ones and. Even Scrooge is a little scary.
It was like when I want to say it was like, I don't know, in the 90s or something like that. There were like two Jack Frost. There was one with like Michael Keaton where he turned into he died and turned into a snowman.
Yeah,
and then there was like a horror movie called Jack Frost.
Like even that Jack Frost one with Michael Keaton, I'm like, that looks kind of creepy to me. Even Scrooge was like a little dark. It felt like a Tim Burton movie, but I don't think it was Richard Donner, I think, that did that one. But it was like they had like the Grim Reaper in it, and it's got like all these little creatures in his robe. Like it freaked me out when I was little.
Oh, that reminds me. I should probably try to seek that one out and watch that one again. It's been a while.
I mean, there's some good things about the movie. Like, I mean, obviously Bill Murray and stuff, but it is kind of dark, that one. It's like that one ghost and the guy had like a mouse coming out of his like throat. It was just like, as a kid, it was kind of traumatizing a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I don't need to watch this one every year. Some people like.
And when like death came at him, like that was actually pretty metal looking.
Yeah, it's just like a weird version of Scrooge. I'm like, I'll stick with the Mickey's Christmas Carol, thank you. Like the cartoon one, like
that's a good one too. And I guess if we're talking about, if we go into the realm of cartoons, I mean, like Rudolph is like a timeless classic.
Yeah, and that's what I was like talking with Kristen. I'm like I don't really consider them movies because they're more like TV specials, and they're not over an hour, like or a hit just about an hour. Because it's like that. There's Shrek the Halls, Rudolph, Frosty. There's The Year Without Santa Claus is a good movie, actually. I don't know. I guess that one's considered a movie because that's like an hour and 20. I should have put that on my list, my top 10.
I think Paramount or something like that. I didn't fall down the well, but I think last weekend or the weekend before that, they showed every one of those like stop motion movies.
Oh, really?
Like from Rudolph to Frosty to, was it the one, all of those, man. I was like, wow,
Santa Claus is coming to town.
I didn't even remember all these movies existed.
Rudolph's Shiny New Year. There's that Rudolph's Shiny New Year is like this weird one with like a caveman and like a baby and like a guy in like armor. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, I have to ask you this if we're going to talk about like specials and technically movies. Have you ever bared witness to the wonder that is the Star Wars Holiday Special?
I've seen clips of it online, and it's just that's a bad one. People thought they hated
canon, so
people thought they hated Last Jedi. We gotta look that up. I mean, I remember when they did the Star Wars. When they were on the Muppet Show, that's like when I first got into Star Wars, and I was like,
oh yeah,
and I got all scared because I was like only 5 or 4, and then Gonzo was dressing up as Darth Vader, and that kind of scared me.
Yeah,
but then it's like Return of the Jedi came out, and I watched it in the theater. It was like my first movie. But yeah, I mean Star Wars stuff. I didn't see that one. I don't think I can stomach it. I've been trying to get through the prequels with Connor, and Connor's like, I don't like these Star Wars. It's like, yeah, a lot of people don't.
Yeah, he's smart.
And he was like, where's BB-8? And it's like, well, he's not in these. Sorry. There's stupid.
Don't worry. If George Lucas gets tired, he will add BB-8 to those original when he remasters them.
Well, I don't think he owns the rights for BB-8 in them. I don't think, since he sold the company, and now he's like a billionaire for it. All right, so I think we're winding down here. Thanks for your input. I'm gonna keep trudging along here gotta contact some other people and see what their favorite Christmas stuff is. Do you have any other Christmas memories or music or anything like? Do you used to go out to the movies on Christmas Day or anything like that?
I only did like the Star Wars thing a couple times, I guess, because I'd be stuck at home. But no Star Wars movies this year because they blew their load in May with Solo. Yeah,
they should have just like postponed it. I think people would have been more receptible or acceptable of it, I guess, if it came out then. I think they just kind of rushed it. It was too close to The Last Jedi, and people still having a bitter taste for whatever reason in that movie and didn't want to. The movie was all right. I mean, I don't think it was in my top 10, but.
Well, I'm noticing too, like when Marvel first started that whole thing where they were throwing out their movies and they do the Thursday night premieres, it seemed like it's a big sneaky thing, but the last few times, and I guess Star Wars is lumped into this too, it's like it's like everybody's in on the secret. It feels a little less special when you're being hoarded into the movies via groups because they like oversold like 4 theaters, on Thursday night.
Oh, you do like the opening night. I can't get there.
Yeah.
Nights. I'll do like a Saturday.
I don't think
Sunday
I'm doing that.
When someone can actually watch my kid. It'd be nice if I could finally, when he gets old enough to like start taking him to Star Wars movies, and like I'll take him out of school or something. Like, yeah, we're gonna go.
Yeah,
we're gonna go.
Hopefully, it's not like 3 hours long, because it seems to be the standard bearing torch nowadays for movies, where it's like, you go, it's like, oh, it's 2.5 hours, and then there's cut scenes and mid credit scenes.
Yeah, that's like I think the Avengers, the next one's gonna be Endgame. It's gonna be that's gonna be a long one. I think that's gonna be close to probably 3, but definitely 2.5 hours.
I think I'm gonna just go take the day off from work and just shut off the phone and go during the day, not fight people on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the way to go. I'll probably have to just stay off the internet and social media for a couple days until I can go see it without getting spoiled, because I'm sure I luckily didn't get spoiled the last time. I got spoiled for Guardians, but I learned my lesson to just like try to stay off social media and put old filters for everything.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I just put in Solo, put in Ben Solo, put in Kylo Ren. There's like tons of filters. It's probably like 100 filters, but then it's annoying having to delete them afterwards. After you see the movie, it's like, oh, okay. It's like, I wish there was a way to just people would shut their fuck up and not spoil the movie. And it's not even people. It's actually like news outlets that will say like, can't you believe what happened in the end credits for this? And it's a picture of somebody, and it's like that happened with The Walking Dead recently. It's like I didn't care about The Walking Dead because I watch it, but it's still like I don't care about getting spoiled about it anymore. But like Entertainment Weekly, Hollywood Reporter, those type of websites just put right in the freaking headlines. It's like, come on.
The worst is like, what was it? I noticed this recently because was it Nerdist? It's like, anytime a trailer comes out, they have to make like 5 different posts analyzing each section of the trailer. It's like, yo, don't you realize we will get the answers when the movie is released?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why people don't like the new Star Wars, because they overanalyze the hell out of all of them. And it's like, if it's not the way of their theory, then they don't like it. And it's like, well, this is the way it should have been. And then they start bitching and moaning, and it's like how backlash starts by this. It's almost like doing these trailers and then releasing so many trailers and then having people overanalyze it. It's almost the same way of like the election season starting now in like 2 years, and it's like the same way, and people are just sick of it when it finally comes here. It's like almost very similar.
Oh, yeah. Well, I know for a fact, like when Deadpool was coming up, I was trying to not watch the trailers for Deadpool, too. And I swear to you, 85% of the movie, it was pretty much, spoiled in the trailers, minus the one special scene that pretty much everybody was suggesting outside of trailers anyway, so I pretty much knew what to expect.
Yeah, I mean, the trailers gave away some of this funny stuff, but I think in the end they still had a fair amount of funny things, especially the end credits for that. I think I was laughing the most for that. I'm actually curious to see how they're gonna do the PG-13, the Christmas version of it, I guess, with Fred Savage. I actually am just curious. I just want to watch those scenes. Like, I don't want to watch Deadpool 2 over again. Like, I just want to watch Deadpool interacting with Fred Savage, because all those trailers have been like hilarious. But I'm like, I wonder if they're just showing all those bits in the trailers.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a little confused by why they did that anyway, because you remember all the outcry, at the beginning when the first movie was going to come out. They were like, oh, it has to be rated R. It has to be rated R. Now all of a sudden those same fans are cool with this PG-13 cut. Like,
well, I think part of it too is they're donating a lot of it to Fuck Cancer. I think the charity.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's actually a cool thing that they're doing that. I kind of wish they contacted me to just use my shirt. That everyone stole stole my idea, but then it's not my idea, IP, but whatever.
What you should have did was you should have bought an ad on Facebook and had Deadpool holding the shirt, totally make it look like it's a picture or Ryan Reynolds holding the shirt.
Yeah. Where
it's not really Ryan Reynolds holding it, but you just pay for it, and Facebook's like, cool, we'll take your money. We don't care that it's copyright infringement.
Well, that's how my shirt became viral, because everyone, all of a sudden, no one was really buying it, and then all of a sudden, like, I was getting like 10, 20 sales a day, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I find on Facebook that everyone has a picture of Ryan Reynolds wearing my shirt, and then people actually thinking it's Ryan Reynolds, and it's like trying to like, and then I was donating some of the money to some charities like Stupid Cancer, I think I did, and another one, but just to show like, hey, I'm not completely making money off of cancer, but so I donated at least like $600
That's cool.
to some charities and stuff. But yeah, I made some money off of it from it going viral. I mean, I probably could have made a shit ton more money, and then probably would have been an even bigger target on my back if people found out. But I guess, the worst case scenario, just tell me to take the shirt down, which has happened once before, and I know it's put back up. But anyway, all right. So we're kind of way off topic here.
That's my role. That's how I roll.
That's my thing too. But it was a good conversation. We got some Christmas stuff in there, and talked about some other stuff. But all right, you have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for talking.
No problem, man.
All right, later. All right, so now we're going to be talking with Joe. You might know him as Creature of War on the website, and he just saw a Christmas Vacation screening in Pittsburgh. So we talk a little bit about that, and then we just talk about some more music and movies around the holidays. So here's Joe. All right. So welcome to the ReadJunk Podcast. This is Joe. You might know him as Creature of War.
Oh, don't give out my secret identity. I have to protect my family.
Oh, right. Well, I didn't say like where your address was or anything.
All right. Well, I guess I'll have to live with just knowing that I'm Joe.
Yeah, you're just Joe.
And the only Joe that ever comments on anything on ReadJunk.
No, there's like one or two other people.
But no other Joes.
So we're doing a Christmas-themed episode where I'm asking just all my friends, what is like your go-to Christmas movie that you have to watch every year, and then also like what are some Christmas albums and songs that you have to listen to. So I don't know which one you want to go with first.
Well, it's topical tonight because obviously one of my favorite movies that I went to see in theaters is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's what the go-to for us, me and my wife. So we both went out, traveled to Pittsburgh, and went and seen it on the big screen for the first time because I was too young to see it when it first came out.
Oh, wow, really? I saw it in the theater when it came out. That shows how older than I am than you, I guess.
Yeah, a couple years, right? Decade or so.
I'm 40. I don't know. So I mean, how was the experience? Was it like sold out and kind of?
It was sold out, and they had to add another showing.
Wow.
We went to the 7:30 showing, and they added an 8 o'clock showing because there were so many people that were interested in it. But I pre-ordered the tickets online like beginning of November because I've been to some of the classic movie stuff out there, and it gets pretty sold out quickly.
Was it like a fandom kind of thing, or is like?
It was at the AMC theaters, but the fandom things are kind of different. But it was like that.
Okay.
I guess they started doing it this year, as far as I know, and they were playing movies like Polar Express and Elf and A Christmas Story. You don't like Polar Express? You don't like the kid in it that's always running around like, I don't know what I gotta do. Where's my Christmas?
I don't know. I watched it, I think, for the first time last year, and I'm like, yeah, there's a reason why I didn't want to watch it. It's just so weird, and just like it's not very good. Like it's just they're just on a fucking train the entire time.
It's a magical train with Tom Hanks playing Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks starring Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks, and then like all these just. It's like that movie where they didn't get the animation just right yet with the CGI with the mouths moving and the eyes, and it just looks like they all look dead inside.
Like what was the other one? Was it Arthur Saves Christmas or something like that? It's like that same kind of style.
I didn't see that one.
Like a weird, like video game CGI.
Yeah, that one came out like a couple of years ago too, right?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen it on TV just recently. I never watched the whole thing. It's like, don't think this is for me.
But was everyone just like cracking up laughing in the theater or watching it were a lot of people watching it for the first time, or I don't know, or just probably
there was laughing? A pretty wide variety in the audience. I mean, there was a couple families that brought their younger kids that probably maybe you've seen it at home a couple of times or on TV because they run it a lot, but yeah. For the most part, there was people, seemed like everyone's seen it because they were preparing for all the jokes in the movie. And, when Cousin Eddie comes in, he's fan favorite and people were clapping for him. And then it just kind of started getting goofy and he just lightened the mood of everything, just more slapsticky with it. Everyone got more excited with it.
What's your favorite scene from the movie?
My favorite scene from the movie would probably have to be the breakdown at the end when everything goes bad. Yeah. That part. And then when Cousin Eddie first appears and he just, Clark's going down the family line because he got the lights on, and then all of a sudden there's Cousin Eddie and he's just like, Cousin Eddie, what are you doing here, Eddie?
Yeah. That whole scene where he's like, and just beating the shit out of the Santa Claus. I'm like, that resonates with me very well.
Yeah.
My dad would. That movie, like the whole movie, was a lot of stuff like that. Like I thought about my dad because it's like he fell off the roof, I think, once or twice. He's gotten electrocuted doing the Christmas lights. He would blow tons of fuses with the house because we could see our house from the highway. It's like.
Did you have to go with him to check every single bulb individually?
No, but we saw my brother and I were there when he was checking the bulbs and plugging each one in, and he got like a huge shock, and he jumped backwards, and my brother and I were just like had our mouths open, just like, oh, what do we do?
I think that's what makes that movie great is that there's always scenes that people can relate to stuff, like the turkey scene.
The turkey scene.
That happened to my family when they put the turkey in too long and it was just so dehydrated, and probably one of the reasons it turned me from eating turkey.
Oh, but yeah, that thankfully didn't happen to us, but definitely like the tree was another thing of getting gigantic trees because my grandfather had like a tree farm, so we would go get one of those trees every year. So my dad would just get these ginormous freaking trees that we can barely put in on our minivan, and then it's like you had to keep trimming it off because it couldn't fit in the house.
Did he ever forget a saw when he goes the whole way there?
Maybe. I mean, we usually just use a chainsaw from the. I wasn't allowed to use a chainsaw, but
you probably always wanted to.
I always wanted to. My mom's like, no, and even like still, like my uncles are like, no, your mom will yell at me. I'm like, I'm fucking 40 years old.
As long as he's alive, nope. Your uncle's not letting it happen.
And I don't know if I don't know if we had like a squirrel or something in the tree, but it would seem very likely that we probably did, since we did get.
We
it
had a
from,
Christmas bat. We had a Christmas bat flying around in my
Oh.
grandma's house. Everyone was trying to hit it with the broom and get it out, and then it's just like, just open the door, it'll fly right out, and
It's
it did.
a Batman Christmas.
There you
Um,
go. I just watched that episode of Batman the Animated Series the other day.
oh, which
The
episode
Christmas
is it?
Joker one that had the Jingle Bells Batman Smells song.
Oh, right. I've
Was
watched
it
a few
Joker?
episodes since I got the set, but I haven't watched it fully yet, because it was like then it turned Christmas time and I started watching that, and my wife and I just been rewatching Game of Thrones, so it's kind of even kind of stopping us from watching as many Christmas movies. Because I mean, I did a top 10 list today of just all my Christmas movies that I liked. I'm like, I had Christmas Vacation as number one. That still is, I still laugh out loud watching it every year.
I'd probably put, for me, top 5, number 1, Christmas Vacation. Number 2 is probably Christmas Story.
I have that at number 7 just because I've seen it so many times. It's kind of been bumped.
I love it, and it's all relatable to me with a lot of those scenes, like Christmas Vacation. It's just like going out and couldn't have a BB gun when I was a kid because of that same reason, and dressing up like his brother that you can't move and you have to go wait for the bus, and it's just like, how am I going to get on the bus?
Well, that I can definitely relate to. Like, I can't put my arms down.
Elf's probably third, and that's more of my most recent ones on my list because I never really liked Will Ferrell until watching Elf, and then I started liking him.
Yeah, Elf is number 2. That one I still laugh every year watching that, and it hasn't gotten stale yet watching it. But it's like, and you find different things each year watching for some of these movies. You just pick out little things that you missed last year, or you just forget. So, I mean,
you just forget from.
Yeah, and I had
life,
Home Alone 2 and Home Alone next, but.
Yeah, Home Alone's definitely another one that's our go-to. That's probably after Elf. And then I'm going to throw in for my 5th one is a tradition that me and my friend used to do from, high school days on. We would always watch Dawn of the Dead, the original.
Right
before
the Dead.
Christmas. Dawn of the Dead, yes. And
Does
all the
it take
people that
pla-
argue about, like...
Does it
like
take place
Die
during
Hard
Christmas?
No, not at all.
Oh, so it's just one movie that you would watch. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things, like, if it's a Christmas movie to you and you watch it for Christmas, then it counts. Like Die Hard, people are having the argument with Die Hard. Who cares? If you watch it for Christmas, if you want to decide to watch, like, I don't know, The Water Boy every year with your family for Christmas, then
I guess it's
a
like,
Christmas movie.
yeah, some of my Jewish friends are probably like, they just watch whatever during the
8
season.
crazy nights over and over again.
Well, no, not that, but just like a movie that it's just like a habit. It's almost like watching The Godfather during Christmas, because it's always airing during that time. So you just watch Godfather during Christmas time. I'm sure there's Christmas in the movie at some point. It's like 5 hours long, but
Yeah, it goes through the whole year.
Yeah, so I mean, and then switching gears from movies to music, what are some albums that you like you need to listen to, or what's it like in your playlist that you have to listen to?
Well, going all the way back, and I would always avoid the traditional stuff for, growing up, and how you are when you're a kid. Sometimes you're just like, I don't want to listen to what my parents listen to. So I avoided a lot of the older stuff, and then you hear it everywhere. So when Winter Wonderland came out by MU330, that's like every year is the first album I'll listen to for Christmas time, because it was my type of music, and it still had, ska punk and little traditional stuff. But
did you ever get the Toasters album that was the Christmas ska one?
No, I don't think I ever got the full album. Probably a couple of the songs here and there, but I don't remember what was on it.
Yeah, it was kind of an out-of-print one, and I think my dad snagged one when we went to visit Moon Records one time, and then my dad would just play it every year. It's like, there was a few songs I liked, like Sledge singing like Sleigh Ride was good, and like Rudy was in jail or something was fun.
And there's a lot of songs too. I was just out for lunch where was I at the other day? Red Robin, I think. And I'm sitting in there, we're eating our burgers, and they're playing Christmas time, It Sure Doesn't Feel Like It by the Mighty Mighty Bosstones. It's just like such a random thing out of nowhere. Like, wow, that's kind of cool.
I like the other. I like the other Bosstones Christmas song. Was it Time of Year or something?
Yeah, This Time of Year.
Yeah, This Time of Year. Yeah, I like that one better because the other one's like slower, right?
Yeah, one of them's more like depressing and kind of against Christmas, and then one of them's more like how much they like Christmas. So they had both sides of the coin with it. But and then now when we're doing our traditional stuff around the house or decorating and stuff like that, I kind of go for the older traditional stuff now, like Bing Crosby, you know, White Christmas, and those type of songs. But then I also go with the Johnny Cash Christmas album.
I haven't listened to Johnny Cash Christmas.
Yeah,
Johnny
Cash singing Christmas song.
It's like my dad. I guess the country stuff was the Gene Autry stuff. That's my dad got that one, like the cassette one year at a garage sale, and then we'd listen to that, looking at Christmas lights in the car, and now it's like that's like my go-to. I have to listen as soon as like Thanksgiving hits. I listen to Gene Autry. It's like I used to hate it, and now it's like you were saying before. Yeah. It's like you get older and you appreciate it more now.
Yeah, and it's all the variety. Like my pap was a big Hank Williams fan, so I always kind of grew up, and that was one of the ones I liked listening to was Hank Williams. And you get a lot of that stuff that's just like, oh, well, like the traditional Christmas songs. I don't want to hear that. Like I don't want to listen to Frank Sinatra and Crosby and.
Yeah, it's like
then
your grandparents.
Now you're listening to it. You're like, wow, yeah, there's a reason they listen to it because it's better than most of the other stuff that's out there, like the Wham Christmas, Last Christmas. Like, really?
Hey, I like it.
I'm sure you do.
I like a wide variety. The one Christmas song I cannot stand is the Paul McCartney one, like Christmas time song one. Yeah, it's like.
See, I actually like that with the Paul McCartney and Wings. It was, what's the name of the song now? I just listened to it because I forgot for the longest time that it was him, and I'm like, I've always liked that song. And,
Christmas,
yeah,
that one. It's just like click. I'm not listening to that. And it's the same thing with like Bruce Springsteen too. It's like yeah, you listen to him once, and then it's just like, all right, get on with it.
The Real Big Fish Christmas EP from a couple years ago. That's like kind of classic Real Big Fish doing the Less Than Jake thing, covering, Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
They didn't do. I mean, they only did that on a 7-inch, right? Or did they redo that one? Because I remember it was on a 7-inch and it was kind of crappy quality. So I don't know if Less Than Jake.
No, that was a redone one. Oh, okay. You talking about Less Than Jake or Real Big Fish?
Yeah, Less Than Jake.
That I would say that they'd probably have done it digitally, but most of the stuff that I have from there was on random like compilations or what was Goodbye Blue and White. Does it have any of the Christmas ones on it? I can't remember.
I don't remember. There's so many albums that Les and Jake put out.
But I think most of the stuff I just have random songs from it and put it together because I was never a vinyl guy, so I never listened and collected that stuff. And when I'd see singles and like vinyl stuff at the shows, I just be like, I don't want that. I'm not going to listen to it.
I did have a brief phase with the vinyl kind of stuff getting 7 inches because it wasn't available on CD. So then I was like, well, my parents have a record player. I'll listen to it. But then at some point I ended up just either I ripped them somehow and then just sold all my vinyl. I'm like, I don't know. It's so impractical.
Finding someone to rip it, it's just like, I'll just go with that. And one way or another, you could find someone that had decent quality of it.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm so much more digital. It's easier and much more portable. It's hard to take your vinyl collection with you.
It's so much easier to make playlists and things now instead of making mixtapes and Christmas stuff and just any type of mix. Really, I'm fine with making Spotify playlists, and then now I have a new iPhone. I can put on tons of music on just one device. I used to have I just got rid of I didn't get rid of it, but it's like I stopped putting music on my iPod Classic just because they stopped making them and I ran out of space.
Yeah, it's kind of obsolete now. You think, yeah,
it's
like with my phone. My phone's the most, my travel music is all on that. I got thousands of songs on there, and I just kind of put it on shuffle. Or if I want to just listen to a certain album, it's kind of cherry picked all my good stuff and put on.
Yeah, I for whatever, I just can't listen to like albums anymore. It's just shuffle of like 5,000 songs. Like I make a big huge, all my favorite songs is like 5,000 songs or something like that, and then it just.
I'm weird because when I'm at work, I only want to listen to albums, but I have a couple playlists or something, or I'll go with like, hey, I want to listen to like 90s rock, and that's kind of like a go-to thing, or cover songs or something like that. But when I'm at work and I'm listening, I'll almost, that's the only time that I ever listen to full albums, unless I'm in my car or something, and I'm just like, hey, I want to listen to Van Halen 1984 or something. I'm like, all right, let's go.
But I guess it's tough now with my car and the iPhone is like I have to tell Siri to put on an album because the iPod Classic I was used to be able to hook it into a USB and then have it go through the little screen thing, and then I can go through this just using my stereo. But now I can't do that, so it's like almost like when I have a like impulse to listen to something, I go, "Hey Siri, can you put on like Bad Religion," or something like that. It's,
yeah.
Speaking of Bad Religion, I mean, do you like their Christmas album?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
That's
one of the newer
that
ones.
They did it for. It's just like I forgot about that. Yeah, I have that, and it's true because those songs, no matter what religion or non-religion, the songs are good songs. They have structure to them and the harmonies to them, and what they said about them is like, hey, we all like these songs, even though it's not our thing. We want to make a Christmas album. It's kind of funny, but it's kind of because we like the songs.
Yeah, it's like almost like I don't mind some of those Christmas songs because I listen to them when I think like the old Disney record. Going back to vinyl, I had a Disney record with some of those like Christmas religious songs, and then that was like, but sung by like, I don't know, it wasn't John Denver, but it was somebody else that was singing for the Disney for Disney stuff. So I would listen to that. So listen to the Bad Religion do these songs. I'm like, oh, it sounds all right. And and at the same time, it's like if I had to go to church and like be forced to go to church because I'm not going to go by myself. But I would do the mass just to hear some of the music, I guess. But
yeah, to sing some of like I go back, and this is kind of totally 80s for us 80s kids, is I remember that they had a California Raisins Christmas special.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and I always loved their version that they did of We Three Kings. It kind of had like the soprano voice and stuff in it, one of the raisins, and it's just like that.
Do you
that
remember?
Song always stuck with me.
Do you remember Pac-Man Christmas?
Oh no, I don't remember that. I know what you're talking about, but that's like going back to the He-Man and She-Ra Christmas classic. It was actually that was just on TV like 2 weeks ago.
Really?
For the first time I've ever seen it on TV since I was a kid, and it originally aired. I can't remember if it was like AMC or something had it on late night. Like, what the heck is this? This
I'm
is
gonna
awesome.
have to look that up. I don't remember. I mean, I probably saw it back when it aired. I remember there was a cartoon that I can't find, but it was for the BC, like it was for BC the comic strip, and that was it. Like it was like a Christmas special, and it was like sometime in the 80s. I remember it, but I don't remember anything about it. It might be on YouTube.
Yeah, everything's on YouTube.
Yeah,
if they don't
it's like I like watching these
fan following.
The animated shorts for Disney. They would have like the Christmas like specials too. So they have some of those from like 1983 and 86 that I remember watching on TV, and it had all the good like Donald Duck and like going against Chip and Dale for Christmas presents and stuff. Like I always like watching that kind of stuff too. Getting away from
throw out there that now that I'm thinking of it too, I can't forget about the original Grinch cartoon is one of my favorites since I was a kid.
Yeah, but I was like, I've been having this debate with other people about whether or not it's considered a movie or not because it's not over an hour. I think it's only a half hour, right?
What would you consider it? Yeah, it's probably like 27 minutes.
I consider that like Rudolph and like some other thing, like just TV specials. Because it's like Shrek the Halls. So I like that one a lot, and that's only
you can consider it an animated short, but
yeah,
it's that and like the Charlie Brown Christmas stuff. Those are all.
That's all like TV
we usually watch those. We usually watch those two together, so it equals almost 50 minutes.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I love watching. Well, I actually don't like watching the cartoon as much as I like listening to the music, but I listen to the music all year round. From Vince Guaraldi.
Do you like the Jim Carrey Grinch movie?
No.
Definitely...
I think I watched.
You don't like that?
I think I watched it once, and I was like, yeah, I like Jim Carrey, but not for everything. That was not one of them.
I didn't mind it.
I
like they extended it and did the backstory a little bit, and it wasn't bad.
I don't know. I still like the original cartoon, but I'm actually curious about the new movie that just came out with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it really.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that said they wanted to see it, but I guess it's young Grinch.
And I'm sure I'm gonna get this stuff to review like after Christmas, which I've done that in the past, where it's like after I'm done out all like Christmas out, and I have to like review all these movies that are like Christmas. I'm like, well, I want to own it, but I just don't want to watch it now. Like,
That's the price you pay, Brian. The price you pay.
Price I pay to get free movies. It's like, it was like,
you
oh,
have
Why
to
Him
suffer
was
an extra
one.
month of Christmas.
Office Christmas Party was another one. Like, it was like that one and Why Him were like, I got both these movies like Christmas movies, and it was in January. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to review these now.
You were celebrating Russian Orthodox.
Yeah. And like Bad Santa 2, that was another one. Where it's like, for those movies, I guess like Bad Santa and Bad Santa 2, I guess you can watch them other times because they're not. They're kind of Christmassy, but I don't know. It's like in Arizona, it doesn't snow there.
Yeah, he's a mall fan, and that's about as Christmas themed as it gets.
Yeah. All right. It's getting late, and I think we got to go to sleep because we got to work tomorrow, right? Are you off tomorrow?
I'm off tomorrow.
Oh, I have half a day.
That's what my wife has. She's got a half a day because she wasn't sure, how late we'd get back, and
yeah,
movie started at 7:30, so it's only an hour and a half. So
I guess it was perfect timing that I hit you up after seeing the movie tonight.
See, yep, definitely. Like I said, thematic.
Yeah, well, I'll have to get you on the podcast again, and we'll like actually do like a full like show of just you and me talking about whatever.
Because I knew you said about it, and I've just been, how it is with the holidays, so much stuff going on. So we'll definitely, whatever you want to go on about, some comic stuff and some other movies and other random stuff.
Yeah, because I was like this. All of a sudden, like I'm like, oh, I should do just call up random some friends that are into it and just ask them about and just shoot the shit. And I think it would be a fun podcast because I haven't done one like a month, so it's been a while.
An anthology of Christmas friend stuff.
Yeah, and it's also it's a good time to reach out to friends and.
There you go. And anyone that's listening that doesn't want to listen to a particular person, you just skip ahead 20-something minutes. You're good to go.
This guy sucks. Let's fast forward.
Yeah.
Well, you have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Happy holidays.
You too. Bye-bye. Next we'll be talking with Brian, my friend, who I've met at Apple Stomp a few years ago. Many years ago, I guess. But he has his own picks for Christmas movie and music and stuff like that. So here's Brian. Okay, so the episode is Christmas movies and Christmas music and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not sure if you're totally into that or what.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so what's like your go-to movie?
Go-to movie is Muppet Christmas Carol. My sister and I would watch it every Christmas Eve. So I think it came out in, 92. So 93 till last year. The only year that we wouldn't have was 2 years ago when I was at my in-laws on Christmas Eve, which I will be this year, but I will be bringing my copy to watch it over there.
I don't know. I only watched it the first time last year, and it was okay. I mean, I think I prefer the Mickey's Christmas one, the animated.
Yeah,
one.
we'd watch that one too, the half-hour one. It just was the right time because in 92 I would have been 3 going on 4, so that's my first real Muppet introduction. Okay. So it sticks with me in that sense.
And yeah, I mean, I like the other Muppet movies, but that one I was I don't know, I just didn't like that one as much. Well, I did have Michael
another
Caine
good one. Michael Caine's awesome in it. Another good one is You can find it on YouTube usually. It's the Muppet Family Christmas. That's from the 80s, and that has a bunch of Sesame Street characters,
John Denver?
and Fraggle Rocks too.
Oh wow, I probably seen that live since I was into Fraggle Rock and that stuff. Muppets from growing up in the 80s.
Yeah, the plot is that the inventor guy from Fraggle Rock, he's trying to get away for the holidays, and he rents, so like an initial Airbnb situation, he rents Fozzie's mom's house, but then Fozzie and all the Muppets show up to the house, and his peace and quiet Christmas doesn't happen as they get snowed in.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to look that up now because I'm very curious. Maybe my son will actually like it, but I don't know. He hasn't really been in the Muppet Fraggle Rock phase. I keep trying to show him Fraggle Rock and Muppets, but he's like, yeah, it's not dinosaurs or anything. So it's... And there was another movie that you posted on Facebook yesterday to me.
So I mentioned In Bruges,
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite movies. I would love it to become the new Die Hard in terms of action movie that's Christmas. It absolutely takes place at Christmas. Other than that, it's not too Christmas heavy in the plot, but It takes place in Bruges, Belgium at Christmas time. It's a very lovely looking medieval city with snow all around. And it's one that I'm trying to work in more every year for Christmas. But I haven't quite gotten into the tradition because I don't want to overdo it with that movie yet.
Yeah, that's kind of like a non-Christmas movie in a sense. It's like the same way with Die Hard. Yeah, like you said, I've only seen it like once or twice, and it's dark too. So it's like, but with those kind of movies, you can watch them anytime though. It's like some people, I don't know why people would save Die Hard for Christmas time. I don't know. It came out in July, so.
Yeah. No, I said the difference with Die Hard, and I would also, the other one I always throw in is Gremlins, is that, Christmas is related to their plot. As it was pointed out in BoJack Horseman, because John McClane was alone on Christmas, he was able to save the day. If he had a family, if he was still with his family, he wouldn't have been there to save the day. So it does matter in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly a lot of arguments saying that it could be a Christmas movie, and then they released that trailer the other day where it made it into like a full-on Christmas movie. It was really funny. They're like, the greatest Christmas movie ever told. And I'm like, well, I guess they confirmed it then, even though other people say it's not a Christmas movie.
I think it's one out at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think people was like, and when it all comes down to it, it's like whatever movie you watch during the holidays, like it could be The Godfather or something like that. That's always on TV every Christmas time, holiday time. It's people are going to watch whatever they're going to watch during that time. For me, it's always from Thanksgiving on till about right after Christmas or New Year's. I'll watch Christmas movies. It'll be like Elf and Christmas Vacation and like the usual kind of stuff. But I don't usually watch Die Hard and stuff like that because I have to watch all three of them. Would Die Hard 2 during Christmas time, or is that just the winter?
I don't remember because they're at the airport for that one.
Yeah, it's
so I assume that they may have tried to get it. One of the Lethal Weapons is Christmas, I know.
Yeah, the first one is, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Trading Places is too. So there was like that like era. There was a whole bunch of that. So it was actually really interesting. Last year on my Facebook, I counted down my 25 favorite Christmas episodes of TV shows.
Yeah.
And this year, I was going to do my favorite movies. And I started to make a list, and I was like, oh, it's really hard to get 25 Christmas movies that I enjoy. I got to like 12, and I hit a wall because I didn't want to include any like half-hour specials. And then there's a lot of really terrible ones out there.
Yeah, I've been talking with other people about that too. Like as far as I don't like the TV specials, I consider TV specials and not movies because it's only a half hour or not even an hour. Like Rudolph, The Grinch,
40 minutes, yeah.
Frosty the Snowman. I mean, the Year Without Santa Claus. I consider that one movie, I guess, but because it's like an hour and 20 or something like that. But yeah, it was really hard coming up with just a top 10.
Yeah. I enjoy. I've seen Love Actually. I enjoyed it. It was high on that list because I just couldn't get too many others above it, and that's with throwing in the Die Hards and Gremlins and In Bruges and ones that I'm really forcing to be Christmas movies. Because after, Muppets and Elf and the Santa Claus and Scrooge, there starts to be, in Christmasification, there starts to be a drop-off quickly.
Yeah, it's like my top 10 is kind of in the back. The back 5 is like the older movies, Christmas Story and Miracle on 34th Street and Babes in Toyland with Laurel and Hardy, March and the Wooden Soldiers, I called it, but because I had like 2 different names. But it's such a weird movie, that one. But you start getting to like the obscure stuff when you start making a list. It's like, wow.
Yeah. At what point do you put Jingle All the Way on, and you have to be, sincere that, I guess it's in my top 25 favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't honestly can think if I can list more than 20 of actual ones that I watch. I mean, there's Jingle All the Way, there's the Harold and Kumar Christmas. There's like ones that are like, yeah, it exists. It's not a, not a good movie. Some of them, but
yeah.
Is there any type of music that you like that you have to listen to during the holidays?
Oh yeah, every year I break out my punk and ska Christmas playlist. It's 50, 60 songs or something like that at this point.
Is it like what Toasters or MEP30?
Those 2 albums. Now the new Goldfinger one I added this year.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I don't have all of Ode to the World of Vandals, but I have that song and the No Doubt cover, which I love. Jimmy Eat World does Last Christmas. There's 2 Boston songs. There's a Big D song. Dropkick a couple years ago had one. So it's an ever-growing list, which has been enjoyable. Last year, Mustard Plug put out, and they re-recorded Real Rat Bastard and made it Real True Santa. So that was one that I got to add.
Oh, I don't think I knew that one. I didn't think I got
They dropped it like on Christmas or something that. Yeah, I might be able to find the file and send it over. But it's just the exact same thing as Real Rat Bastard. But it's, you told me there's no Real True Santa. I'm telling you, I can't believe it's true. So it's a fun song.
And then Mad Caddies released a new one just like last week.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. And of course, the Bad Religion Christmas album is, I think, it's excellent. It's some of their best songs they've ever done.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Yeah, all jokes aside, I mean, I know they did it for that reason, but they know that those are really like powerful songs and that they could put an interesting twist on them that I love.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should do some more, honestly. I'm trying to think
they also did they covered Father Christmas, which I like too.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other ska punk bands there's Goldfinger, we talked about them.
Less Than Jake has I'm Getting Nothing for Christmas, and then a very low quality Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer.
Yeah, I was talking to my friend about that.
Real Big Fish put out that terrible one a couple years ago that they knew was bad, but has like 1 or 2 decent on it.
Yeah, there's some good ones. I mean, my friend Joe says he likes that one, and I like a few songs from it, but...
I remember I saw them the January after it came out, and they were already making fun of it because I think they knew how rushed it was, and just
And then MXPX keeps releasing stuff like every month or every month too, but it's like lately it's releasing new material. But I think they just released some more Christmas songs. They've had plenty of stuff over the years of Christmas songs, so that's always a good one. The Pogues, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've listened to a year-round Christmas podcast that is occasionally about Christmas. It is called Felice Navi Pod. It is hosted by Tony Thaxton, who was the drummer of Motion City Soundtrack, which is a band I don't really have any opinion about one way or the other. But it started out as him, and he has a bunch of like his own Christmas songs he has mixed into it. And then over time, he added a co-host, a guy named Todd Cooper, who doesn't like Christmas because he used to work in retail. And, occasionally they talk about Christmas. It's gone really off the rails over the past couple of years, but around this time of year, they're getting it more Christmassy. They do an annual trip to buy a live Christmas tree with comedian Matt Gorley. So if you're looking for something Christmassy, it's a good fun one. They play a couple games on it, and yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
A game I'd recommend if you're ever at a party is that they do is trying to get to match the young Michael Jackson on Santa Claus is Coming to Town, his high pitch there. See if you can match it.
That's how the hell did he come up with that game?
They also do a low one. The singer Thurl Ravenscroft, who was the singer in Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch, they have a nice low Christmas song of his to try to match, which is impossible, but fun to hear everyone try.
All right, so thanks for your input. I gotta move it along. I got a few more people I gotta talk to. Yeah. So, but thanks for.
It's like Santa. It's like Santa visiting all the girls and boys. But you got me very excited for my Christmas break coming up.
Yeah, I'm about to hit it just now. Yeah. All right, thanks a lot. So this episode will probably be out in probably tomorrow. But it's gonna be like just everyone. So far, a few people said Christmas Vacation. You're the first that said the Muppets Christmas Carol movie. So that was kind of that's why it's like I wanted to talk to you. So I'm like, all right, that's gonna be a different opinion for once, because everyone's got the same kind of Home Alone, Elf, Christmas Vacation. It's like the top three. But all right, thanks a lot.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. Bye bye.
See ya.
I mean, I guess if I'm going to do a podcast, I should be talking with my brother, Matt. I mean, we're pretty much identical. We're identical twins, but we have identical likes and stuff as well. But so we talk a little bit about that and some other things. So here's my brother, Matt. Welcome to the podcast. We're talking about Christmas movies and Christmas albums and things like that. So I'm sure we have a very similar taste. So what do you think is your number one Christmas movie?
I think my go-to is Christmas Vacation with Chevy Chase.
Okay.
Just remember seeing that in the theater, and Dad's actually wearing the same shirt as Chevy Chase in the movie when he's putting up the ornaments, and that kind of brings us to how we kind of grew up with Christmas chaos and decorating the house and all the shenanigans that happen with before and after and during the holidays, and then
the trees, the Christmas lights.
Yeah. And then there's other things that I tend to go through a list of movies, and it's not like my favorite is Christmas Vacation, but then I have to watch like Home Alone and Home Alone 2, and then even Love Actually, even though it's kind of like
I have that in my
chick
top
flick,
5.
but it's kind of like some of it's kind of a bummer. It's a little bit of downer with stuff like with Liam Neeson, and then the Laura Linney's character with the brother that's got issues
cut
in the
them out?
home.
And just cut those characters out.
Yeah, cut them out. But then even with the Alan Rickman character, it's like, what happens? It seems like they get divorced or whatever. So that's kind of a bummer too. So it's really not a whole. And then
Andrew Lincoln's a fucking creep.
Yeah, Carl. I love you, Carl. So that's kind of a bummer too. So it's kind of like the antithesis Christmas film, but I tend to like it because it's London. And it's around the time that we were going there all the time and visiting. So it kind of brings me back for that. I actually didn't get a chance to watch that one yet, so maybe I will. I still got a couple days before.
I watched that when I had the flu, so it's kind of just like.
And on top of that, I like to. On top of that, I like to go through like the TV shows. I made an email list that I always refer to every year of all the episodes and the episode numbers, so I can seek them out, like Home Improvement Christmas episodes,
those
and
are always the best.
Married with Children, and Family Guy, and News Radio, The Office, a couple of those, Wings, a few of those like old classic TV shows that are nice to put on because they're not time consuming, like hour and a half commitment to a movie.
I haven't gone that dedicated with the TV stuff yet. I mean, it's some. I watched some Family Guy this year, but I still have to watch the one that when they go up to the North Pole and then like they talk to Canadians like, "Oh, you can take my leg."
Oh, I just watched that the other night. Yeah, I put that on, and that's very sick and disturbing with the episode with them taking over for Santa and like they're killing a family and it ends up being the wrong house. And then it's like the wrong house they even went to begin with.
I'll have to watch that one.
So that's
Connor
very sick and no, maybe not. I wouldn't recommend that.
He's
what's
seen
another
it before.
one? Like I was. I was watching like some of the Disney stuff on YouTube with the like Chip and Dale
From
and stuff they used to
1983 specials, I think they have.
Yeah, the low early '80s specials. So it's always one of those things that I have to watch to get in the mood, and not necessarily have any decorations up because I'm in the middle of getting ready for a move. But I like to at least watch that stuff to get prepared.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have a tree, and that's about it. We don't have nothing too crazy.
Next year, I'll be able to get all Chevy Chased out with my place and decorate things to whatever I want to do. Put a tree and decorate the windows and the lights and all that stuff. Make it cozy.
Christmas, going back to Christmas Vacation, it was fun picking out the trees every year with Mom and Dad, and then the tree would always be freaking huge and wouldn't be able to fit in the house, so we'd have to keep trimming it down, and it would fall over.
You'd always
every
get
year.
the blue spruce too. That you prick your fingers every time because you had to get the blue spruce, and it's like you're stabbing yourself every time you put on an ornament.
Yeah, and then the trees would be bendy, and then at some point the tree would fall down, and then a ton of ornaments would break, and then so we just have to get new ones every year, and then
we'd have to pin it down with fishing line, like we're like doing at Rockefeller Center or something, having to secure the thing against the.
Yeah, I've been there too
room.
with my tree, and then finally I said screw it, and then got a fake tree instead because those trees up at the farm, and then they would just be very like not much needles on it, and then also they would fall down very easily. They weren't strong trees anymore,
the well has dried up as far as the Rumpf family Christmas ranch with the Christmas trees. So now it's like, all right, a Home Depot or a fake tree, but we'll probably just do a fake tree going forward. It's blasphemy. And nice as it is to smell the fresh Christmas tree, but cleaning up all the needles
and having
all the needles.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you're vacuuming, like, in the summertime and you're still getting, like, needles spitting out of your vacuum, it's like, I
get that with the fake tree, too. I still get needles from the fake tree on the ground. Where do you think Bad Santa and, like, Christmas Story and those kind of movies lie in your top, like, 10?
I haven't watched Bad Santa in years.
Really?
I haven't seen that. I barely watch Christmas Story because it's on all the time.
Yeah,
I think it's overrated. I think it's just annoying. I know it's blasphemy to
I'm Frank will be cursing you right now.
Yeah, hi Frank. I really don't care if it's on all the time because it's not even when it's on for 24 hours. I'm not going out of my way to watch it because it's just I don't know.
I watched that when I was sick again because it was like one of those movies like I don't need to fully watch it. And I'm like had this. Got the chills and sweats.
Yeah, it's like been there, done that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that. Seen it a million times. I don't need to see it anymore for a long ass time, so I'm fine with that.
I got the Tim Allen like Santa Claus on my list. The first one's cute. The other ones are stupid.
I haven't even watched that one in a while. And actually, a new favorite is a new favorite is that Christmas Chronicles. We really like that. I was really like pleasantly surprised. I mean, it kind of starts off like you're like, I don't know, is this a shitty like Hallmark Lifetime Christmas movie? But then once Kurt Russell shows up and he's Santa and he's this more like young and hip kind of Santa, it was very fun.
He's from Williamsburg.
No, yeah, it wasn't that hip. It's just like not the typical fat man Santa.
Okay.
He was some of the funny stuff he was saying,
yeah,
and
I've heard good
he was
things about
a good Santa. It was really good, and it's definitely a little bit of a tearjerker at the end. I won't spoil it for you, but
someone freaking die every movie it seems.
Well, his stepson plays the father of these kids, and that's Kate Hudson's brother. Okay.
What were we talking about?
We were talking about Christmas Chronicles.
Oh, right. That was a tearjerker.
Yeah. So yeah, I recommend that. I recommend that. I really like that, and that'll probably be added to my rotation every year.
I didn't see that. Was that something I could put on with Connor?
Yeah. That's definitely something you can put on with him. It was fun.
I don't know if he'll actually sit down and watch it because it doesn't have dinosaurs
No,
in it. But
no.
yeah, of course he's home
Train wreck
now.
or something.
Now it's like, all right, now I got to watch all of this crap for the rest of the day.
Yeah. All right. I'll let it all this part out. But
Yeah. Now, what kind of Christmas albums and stuff do you usually have to listen to? Obviously, Gene Autry, but
yeah, I actually listen to a lot on the way to work. I find it's more relaxing than just listening to something else. So I put on like a mix, and it's Gene Autry, Johnny Mathis Christmas, and then there's like Real Big Fish and the new Goldfinger that's out, and a mix of other things. Even the Gwen Stefani with Blake Shelton, there's some good tunes on there, and other typical radio crap. Wham! Last Christmas, and the Waitresses Christmas Wrapping. Some of those types of stuff. And
South Park Christmas.
I try to make a mix of like all different kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I was listening in the car to the Christmas Time in Hell song. I just love that song.
Yeah, I can't exactly play that around anybody that is in my car regularly. So,
but hey, I'll sing it along, especially when I'm by myself. I'll sing along to that one.
So I'm listening to Christmas music at the same time, swearing at people that are driving like idiots or cutting me off or worrying
it's
about
the most fuck you
zones.
asshole.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it was this morning. Like driving, it was a truck here, and I got to go take back roads because 17's closed, and but I'm listening. So I had to like turn the Christmas music off because it was too distracting.
It's like, all right, now I need some hate breed or
white knuckle drive.
That's what I was like talking with Chris Taylor. I'm like, is there like a Gwar Christmas album? Now I'm like, I think that would be so good if they did something like that.
Right. All right.
What do you mean? All right.
You got enough?
Oh, you done? But all right, thank you.
All right, see it.
And finally, we talked to my buddy Ray, who you've heard him on the podcast before. So we talk a little bit about his out there choices, and we talk about some reggae Christmas songs and things like that. So here is Ray. All right, so we're doing the Christmas episode, and we had to pick out your go-to Christmas songs and your favorite movies. A lot of people have done Christmas Vacation, and some people have done other things. What is the one movie that you have to watch every year?
Well, I actually have a bunch. There's no specific movie that, when Christmas rolls around, I point to that movie and say I have to watch it.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch though where, if I discover it's on, or if I happen to have the movie, I'll put it on. And some are actually true Christmas movies, and others are kind of like related to Christmas, but I consider them Christmas movies.
Like Die Hard or something.
Like Die Hard, for instance, is like that's a Christmas movie in my opinion because it's set in Christmas in LA, and just the atmosphere of it is Christmassy, even though it's Bruce Willis running around shooting a bunch of people.
I can see the pros and cons of it being a Christmas movie. I've had other discussions with other people about it so far.
Well, it's just a fun favorite movie. So you can't help but associate it with the holidays and Christmas and stuff like that, just because the Christmas setting is so in your face with Die Hard. But another good example that I definitely consider this a Christmas movie, even though it's one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's mainly like set over the course of 1 year, but there's a huge section at the end of the movie where it's all Christmas, and that's of course Funny Farm. And
wow, I didn't even think of that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite like Christmas movies for the last act of the movie alone.
Yeah.
Which is of course the whole movie's hilarious, but the last act where just a setup here, Chevy Chase and his wife move into a town where they're absolutely hated, and they hate the town and the townspeople hate them, and it comes down to the point where they're trying to sell their house because their marriage is failing. So in order to sell the house, they end up trying to buy the townspeople and try to make the townspeople like a lot more friendly than they actually are.
Yeah.
And so as a result, like, they hand out like copies of the New Yorker with covers of Norman Rockwell, to show the townspeople and how a small town should celebrate the holidays.
I gotta watch this again. It's been a while.
Yeah, that's a classic in my opinion, and the whole movie is hilarious from beginning to end. But I'll always associate that with Christmas time.
That's weird. That's weird that you think that, because I never even thought of it as. I mean, I know Christmas has there's some scenes in there of like winter Christmas stuff, but I don't really associate that one with Christmas. That's actually an interesting.
And it's a big chunk too when you think about it, though, because it's basically the final act or the third act of the movie. And growing up as a kid, especially when I was a teenager, they showed that movie a lot on television, and especially for some odd reason during the holiday season, like getting close to Christmas, like Thanksgiving and stuff like that. And my mom would always turn it on and say, "Oh, look, I love this movie." And she would say the same thing, that it always reminds her of Christmas and all that stuff. So, it was one of those movies that you would just discover, you happen to discover, during the holiday season, or, you'll see it on and we'll just turn on and whatnot.
Yeah. That's interesting. I mean, it's with those movies, though, it's like if you take out, it's not something that Christmas drives the plot. So in a way, it's like it's not a Christmas movie per se, but it's one you can watch all year round. But I guess certain people have certain movies that like you said, just that you watch every holiday. That's what gets you in the spirit, I guess.
Yes. And it kind of has an organic, natural feel to it too, because of the fact that particular movie is not completely a Christmas movie. I mean, it just has an element of Christmas in it, So to me, it's kind of organic in that way, where, obviously, A Christmas Story or It's a Wonderful Life, those are packaged to be Christmas movies, and they're packaged in a way where why would you watch it in the summertime when when the right time to really watch it is during the winter time and so forth.
Do you ever notice? Do you ever notice how cable companies always stations are always playing all the Christmas movies in July? It's like when they get the rights to it. It's like they don't get the rights to it during the holiday season. They get it to in July. So it's like Home Alone's playing or Elf's playing on Showtime.
Oh, really? I never noticed that.
It's all I notice it every summer. I'm like, hey, let's go watch Home Alone in July.
Yeah.
What is I don't think I've any. I didn't ask anyone else this, but I figured you might have some. What is the worst Christmas movie you've ever seen?
The worst Christmas movie, huh? Actually, honestly, I wouldn't say it's the worst Christmas movie. I would say it's a Christmas movie though that everyone else likes, but I happen to not care for it, and it's Elf.
Really? Wow, that's my number 2.
People talk about Elf all the time. Yeah, I mean, and I'm a big Will Ferrell fan too. I like Will Ferrell, but I don't know. I just never caught on to the whole fondness of that particular movie.
Wow.
I guess maybe because
you're definitely in the minority with this.
Yeah, I know. I would say so too, because my whole family loves it. My nieces and nephews love it. So, but I just never cared for it as much as everyone else. And I actually only saw it once, from beginning to end.
Oh, well, and you gotta give it another shot.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know that movie backwards and forwards like I do other movies, like movies that I grew up with that I liked a lot that were genuinely Christmas movies. Like Scrooge, for instance. Scrooge, is one of my favorite Christmas movies. Definitely, the Bill Murray movie.
Yeah. I think it's way too dark. It's some seasons I'll watch it, and then other times it's I can appreciate it, and other times I'm I don't feel like watching it this year.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Well, I kind of like that spin though from A Christmas Carol, and I think it matches like the dry wit and humor of Bill Murray very well.
Yeah.
You know, so and plus, like, you know, it was one of those films too, though, that was on all the time when you're a kid. You know, so you know you can't help but gravitate towards a movie like that. And you know, another movie too, though, that I associate with the holidays, which is it's not really it's not really a holiday movie, and it's not really a Christmas movie either. But it's a great holiday movie, and it does have a Christmas scene in it. Is Rudy. Like, you know,
wow, you're
I
pulling
know
these
Rudy's
movies out of nowhere. I'm like, I didn't even.
yeah. Well, Rudy's like, it's such a, I don't know, it's such a family-oriented movie to me, and it's such an inspiring movie.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly like it. Yeah,
and it is one of those movies though that the networks like choose to like put that on like during like Thanksgiving time or Christmas time and stuff like that.
Yeah, for football season, pretty much.
Yeah, so you know that's another one though that's just you know you can't help but associate like you know family oriented films with the holidays, and that is like number one as far as like a family holiday movie.
Yeah, I mean, what are you gonna say next? Star Wars?
No. I mean, so as far as very specific Christmas movies, of course, there's the usual suspects type of movies like. You know, a Christmas Story.
Yeah.
Which, you know, TBS like plays like
24
hours. You know, and I love that movie, and that movie is great, and there's a lot to laugh at it before, and you know, a lot of memorable scenes. But you know, there was one year where like I got sick of it because like every time I would turn on the TV, it was always on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's like you could just turn it off and go, oh, this is where I left off yesterday. or earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Or yeah, you'll have those moments where like every time you tune in onto it, because of the fact that they show it 24 hours, you know, like you end up like hitting the same scene.
Yeah. Now switching over to the music, like what are like do you listen to a lot of Christmas music, like ska and punk, or like just the classics, or?
Yeah, probably a mix of both, though. You know, as a kid growing up, my mom had this Partridge Family Christmas album that she played every year, and we always made fun of her for it because it was one of the most kitschiest, you know, Christmas albums you ever heard. It was like straight from the 70s, but that's an album that actually, as I got older in life, I appreciated it a lot more and became very fond of it. Because of its association with my childhood, like, you know, growing up during Christmas time and all that stuff, and my mom always playing it. And, you know, as an adult, when I revisited that album and listened to it again, you know, like the songs are actually pretty good. So that's just something that I associate from my childhood because my mom had it.
Yeah.
But we always, like, my brother and myself always, you know, made fun of my mom because my mom would always break it out and say, "Oh, it's not Christmas without the Partridge Family," you know. So
I guess it's the same way with my dad getting Gene Autry and then listening to that Gene Autry, and then I'm trying to think what else he used to get. But Gene Autry is definitely the one that's like, why are you getting this? Why did you get this album? And it's like this cassette, and we would listen in the car as we would drive around looking at Christmas lights, and then. We would and then a couple, maybe like 10 years ago, I ended up buying this like all of Gene Autry Christmas collection songs, just to have, because you grow up listening to that stuff, and it's like you make fun of it during the time, but then it's like, oh, now I really like this stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It's funny how your tastes, you know, change over a period of time, and things that you didn't really care for in the past, you know, now seem a lot more relevant.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in your adult years. But so I just threw that Partridge Family thing in there. But as far as like specific albums or music that I like during the holiday season, of course, is the Charlie Brown Christmas album.
Yes, definitely.
Which is a classic, and like honestly, like. That always gets me into the Christmas spirit, like just listening to that album. That's definitely a favorite album of mine. And I also like a lot too. The Jackson 5 had a Christmas album, and a couple Christmases ago, my sister-in-law I think got me that album for Christmas, and it's become an album that if I want to hear Christmas music, I would always break that out. So there's a lot of really good
Temptations or like
Jackson
Motown.
5. Yeah, it's Jackson 5 doing Christmas covers and
okay.
Like one of my favorite Christmas songs by the Jackson 5 that they do is called "Up on the Housetop."
Yeah, I like the Gene Autry version of that. Yeah.
Which I actually noticed though that like that song this season has been in commercials lately.
Oh, really? Maybe I haven't been watching commercials to notice it, but I usually just fast forward.
Yeah. Well, no, like it was on like the other day, and I just happened to notice it was like a car commercial or something like that. So and immediately I was like, "Oh, Jackson 5." So.
Were you ever a fan of the Toasters Christmas album? Since you worked at Moonsky?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I was actually going to mention that as well. That was a very like rare and sought after album, and it was mainly an import.
Yeah.
And because it was released by Tachyon Records, I believe, which ultimately put on the tag of like Moonska Japan, even though there wasn't really a Moonska Japan.
Okay.
I
remember being it rare because I remember when we went down to Moon Records, my dad got it, and then he would just play it every Christmas after that. We're like, "Where'd you get this one?" He's like, "I wouldn't even notice it." He's like, "Yeah," and I guess it was like $30 or something. It was like because it was rare.
Yeah, I wish I had that album. We didn't have a lot of copies of that album. So it kind of sold out quick, or I think we had a few copies lying around for a long time, and nobody bought it, and then all of a sudden, people went after it and started looking for it. But we didn't have a lot of copies of it, and I kind of wish I bought one or one for myself.
Yeah.
But I mean, with YouTube, like almost everything can be found.
Yes.
And it's all there on like YouTube basically, and I've revisited that album a couple of times, in the last few Christmases.
It's on Spotify too. Yeah, you can listen on Spotify. You got the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
it's great. That's definitely great. And as far as like things like ska punk or ska or reggae, goes. There are quite a few like holiday albums that I like. Like for instance, a classic to me, even though this is another really dark one, is the Vandals' Christmas album.
Oh, Oi to
that
the
they
World.
They put out. Yeah, Oi to the World, and Oi to the World is an awesome cover. But if you have the album and you really like look at the track listings of the album, it's like it's pretty dark, and the lyrics.
I'm looking at it right now. Christmas Time for My Penis. That sounds like a good one to play for Connor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and A Gun for Christmas, and there's
Grandpa's
the
Last
Hang Myself.
Xmas.
Hang Myself from the Tree.
Oh yeah, I'm looking at that right now. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and it's one of those Christmas albums though that when I started really getting into punk rock, like around my junior and senior year of high school, my friend one day was just like, "Oh, Vandals like put out a Christmas album," and I was like, "Really? Like a Christmas album?" and you can't but help like laugh out loud, know. And I remember listening to it the first time and thinking how ludicrous it is, like the combination of punk rock Christmas and this like dark content that they have in it. And my friend actually like sent me a text like a couple Christmases back, the same friend who introduced me to this album, and said, "Guess what I'm listening to while I'm like, putting up the Christmas tree?" And I'm like, "Oh, what are you listening to?" And he's like, the Vandals Christmas album, and I happen to be listening to Hang Myself from the Tree. I had to shut it off because my kids were running around. So he actually had to turn it off because his kids went into the room.
Yeah.
So
there's certain songs I had in like a playlist that I had to skip because it was like Jingle Bell Rock, but I think it was like from Opie and Anthony or something that someone did like Suck on My C. So,
yeah.
So it was like a really, really dirty, raunchy version cover of that. I'm like, yeah, I better delete this in case like I like play it at work one day or something. It's like this song comes on, so I'm like, I better get it's a funny song of like as far as like parodies go, but I'm like, yeah, I better take this one off the iPod.
Yeah, it's really funny. I mean, I think people like you and me, you know, if we walked into a room and be like, oh, you're playing the Vandals, like, you know, Order of the World and stuff like that, though, we would definitely appreciate it because of our background.
Yeah.
But then it's one of those albums where you do have to be careful about, because, like, if you have the whole family over, you know, they're just going to look at you and be like, who the hell put this on? Like, you know, why would you want to hear about, you know, hanging yourself from the tree or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, to bring it to like TV specials, like I like the South Park Christmas, like the Mr. Hanky special and all the songs for that, and they have like Christmas Time in Hell, and it's like Merry fucking Christmas they have, and then it's like,
oh yeah,
so it's like I love listening to those. I was just listening to Christmas Time in Hell today, and it's like such a brilliant song that they compose for it, that's like you can't really listen to it around too many people, but
because some people either get that humor or they won't get it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, especially when you think about your family members too, though. Like, you know, I mean, we're of a different generation from many of our family members who might be a lot older. Yeah. Especially in my family, where like there's such a big age gap between certain members of my family. Like my first cousins are like well into their 70s now, and those are my first cousins, and I happen to be like the youngest out of all the cousins. Wow. So, you know, but yeah, so I mean, so there's that, and then, of course, what I love a lot, and in fact, I was listening to it earlier this morning, is a box set that I picked up several years ago, and it's a Trojan Christmas box set. So it's from Trojan Records, which is one of my favorite record labels.
Yeah.
And they release like Jamaican music, of course, you know, like ska, reggae, and all that good stuff.
I have a lot of those, that I acquired.
Yeah, and so there's a ton of really good holiday music. So, you know, if you just want to listen to some Jamaican music that's holiday, you know, inspired, especially Christmas inspired, you know, the Jamaicans, you know, love the holidays. Like they did a ton of like Christmas.
I noticed that.
Music.
Yeah, like I noticed that. Like if I was going to still do a music podcast, I would probably just do an entire episode of just reggae Christmas stuff because there's so much of it out there.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You know, and the Trojan Records like Christmas box set is basically like 100 Christmas songs. You know, and a lot of it are covers of classic Christmas songs, but done in Jamaican music. And I've always said that, you know, Jamaican music makes almost everything better because there's so much covers out there that are done in reggae and Jamaican.
I didn't realize like half all the covers that they do, especially the Motown and like some oldies that they covered. And it's like, especially like, I think it was a tenor song that they covered. And I'm like, this sounds familiar. And then it was called Weather Report, but it was part of it was about, it's almost like the Simon and Garfunkel part of it, the like the Only Living Boy in New York. It's like kind of parts of that song, so it's like so it's like and then I'm like listening to Simon and Garfunkel one day. I'm like, wait, I know this. it's weird. That's like I know.
Well, you know, I mean, popular Jamaican music though was heavily influenced by American music, like you know, American music from the 50s and 60s. So you know, the music that they were getting, you know, in the form of imports were all like American rock and roll and stuff like that of the 50s and 60s. So as far as the radio stations go in Jamaica in the 60s, a lot of the bands that were coming up at that time, which were ska bands or rocksteady bands, were doing covers of just the music that they loved and they listened to. You know, like old school Motown or, you know, 50s music or 50s rock or 60s rock and stuff like that. So that's part of the source of why there's so many like covers.
Yeah.
You know, of that type of stuff. And, you know, the holiday end of it though is there's just so much of it, you know, and there's a lot of really good stuff in the Trojan Records collection that I just mentioned. Like, you know, we wish you an Irie Christmas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, like in fact, there was one Christmas where I hijacked my brother's stereo, you know, and plugged in my iPod, and that's what we listened to. We listened to the Trojan Records, you know, Christmas box set all throughout the whole entire time that we're opening up gifts. And my niece says this sounds like we're like celebrating, you know, Christmas in Jamaica. You know, so.
Yeah, beachy Christmas. Yeah, it's like.
But you know, it is great stuff. Though there are a lot of really like excellent, you know, artists that took part in that collection. So you have things like the Ethiopians and John Holt.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Lee
it right
Perry.
now on Spotify. I see Yellow Man, Paris Hammond, Ika Mouse, Freddie McGregor. Yeah, so it's like all the legends.
Yeah, I think you'll like that a lot too, though. If you play it, you know, it's definitely one of those things too, though, where you could just put on and then kind of ignore it, but kind of like
It's
you
good
know,
background music. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's just in the background, and you kind of ignore it, but it's there, and it still puts you in the holiday spirit of things, you know. So
I think I'll go listen to that right now. All right. Let's end this because this podcast is probably gonna be way too long. But all right, thanks a lot for giving me some of your picks and stuff, and yeah, have a happy holiday, and I'll talk to you soon.
okay, happy holidays, man. Thank
All
you,
right,
man.
Later. Bye-bye.
Peace.
I hope everyone has a great holiday, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this Christmas-themed podcast episode. I'll be back with a new episode at some point next week. My brother and I will be talking about our top 10 movies, music, and all that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that, and just have a happy holiday. Later.